You ever wonder how a truly great story just throws you in? How it can build its entire world? I mean, the rules, the characters, the big conflicts, all in just the first few pages? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down the very first chapter of a classic and see how every single detail, from an execution to something found in the snow, is basically a piece of a puzzle, setting up this massive, epic story. Okay, so it all starts with this one line. And look, it sounds simple, right? Just a weather report. But it's so much more than that. It's all about the tone, that crispness in the air. It's not just about the temperature. It's this feeling that something good, this long, warm summer, is officially over, and something way colder, way harsher is coming. It's just perfect foreshadowing for, well, everything that's about to happen. And that cold morning, it's the backdrop for the very first major event we get. An execution. But the really brilliant part is how we see it. It's all through the eyes of a little kid, 7-year-old Bran Stark. He's seeing the king's justice for the very first time. I mean, this is basically his brutal welcome to the adult world. So let's meet the cast for this little drama. First, you've got young Bran, just trying his best to look brave. Then there's his older brother Robb, who's the heir, who sees everything in a pretty black and white, almost storybook kind of way. And then there's Jon Snow. Same age as Robb, but he's the outsider, the bastard son. And you can already tell he's the quiet one, the one who's really watching. And holding it all together, their father Eddard, who's trying to be both a dad and a lord at the same time.
You know, Bran is walking into this thinking he's about to see a monster, right? Something straight out of the scary stories his nanny told him, some wildling who hangs out with giants and ghouls. But the reality? It's almost disappointingly normal. And that makes it even more chilling. The guy is just an old, scrawny, totally broken man. And that's maybe the first big lesson for Bran. This world, it's no fairy tale.
And this right here, this is such a key moment for understanding Eddard Stark. Bran literally watches his dad, the guy who tells him stories by the fire, just change. He takes off his father face and puts on his lord face. He becomes someone else entirely. Stern, serious, he's the law. He has to shove down all his personal feelings to do this awful duty, and his 7-year-old son sees that switch just flip.
And then the sentence comes down. And you have to listen to the wording here. It's done in the name of the king, sure, but it's by the word of Eddard Stark. He is the king's justice in this part of the world, and he takes that responsibility so seriously he swings the sword himself, his family's ancient greatsword, Ice. This isn't just ordering someone's death, it's looking them in the eye and doing it yourself. It's justice made personal.
Okay, so the execution is over, but that's really only half of it. The real meat of the chapter, the part that lays out the entire philosophy of House Stark, happens on the ride home. This is where the real lesson starts, not just for Bran, but for us too.
And right away, you see this huge difference between the two older boys. Robb, who's going to be the Lord one day, he sees the surface-level stuff. Oh, the guy died bravely, because he didn't scream. But Jon the quiet one, the observer, he saw what was really going on. He saw the pure terror in the man's eyes. I mean, that one little back and forth tells you pretty much everything you need to know about who these two are.
So now poor Bran is all confused. His brothers are saying two totally different things. So he asks his dad this question. And it's so simple, but so deep. He's just a kid trying to figure out, what does brave even mean? It's the central moral puzzle of this whole opening.
And Ned's answer? It's iconic. It's maybe the defining line for his entire character. He tells Bran that being brave when you're afraid, well, that's the only time you can be brave. Courage isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and doing the right thing anyway. That's his code. And that's what he's teaching his son.
And that leads right into the core Stark philosophy on leadership. It's so simple and so powerful. The man who passes the sentence should be the one to swing the sword. Why? Because a ruler who just hides behind an executioner, they forget what death really is. It becomes just a piece of paper. Ned's point is, if you can't face the person and do it yourself, then maybe, just maybe, they don't deserve to die. It's an incredible statement about power and personal responsibility.
So just as this heavy lesson on the laws of men is sinking in, they stumble on something totally different. It's a scene of a brutal natural death, right there in the snow. And it's this perfect, almost poetic mirror to the execution they just performed. This is where the law of man smacks right into the law of nature.
And what is it they find? A dead direwolf. Now you gotta understand, this is a huge deal. Direwolves are basically things of legend at this point. Nobody's seen one south of the wall in like 200 years. And, this is the kicker, the direwolf is the actual symbol of House Stark. It's on their banners. So this isn't just some random dead animal. This is their sigil come to life and found dead. And then there's the clue. What killed this mother wolf? There's a piece of a stag's antler broken off in her throat. Okay, stop right there. A direwolf, the Stark sigil, killed by a stag. And what's the sigil of House Baratheon, the king's house? A stag. The same king in whose name Ned just killed a man. I mean, the foreshadowing here is just wow. It's so thick, you could cut it with a knife.
But here's the thing. The dead mother wolf wasn't alone. She left behind a litter of pups. And instantly everyone starts arguing about what to do with them. This is where the whole chapter pivots. It goes from being about this strange omen to a very real, very immediate life or death choice.
So the debate just kicks off. The guards, they're practical. It's a mercy to kill them now, they say. But Robb and Bran, they're kids. They're horrified. They beg to keep the pups. But Ned, Lord Stark, he uses that same cold, hard logic from the execution. He decides a quick death is better than letting them starve. And for a second, it looks like that's it. The pups are done for. And then, Jon Snow, who's been quiet this whole time, finally speaks.
And Jon doesn't plead, he doesn't get emotional, he does something way smarter. He just presents a single, simple fact. One number, 5. And with that one number, he completely changes the game. He points out that there are 5 pups and Ned has 5 true-born children. He basically says, this isn't random, this is fate, this is a sign. The direwolf is your family symbol, these pups are meant for your children. And by arguing destiny instead of emotion, he gets his father to change his mind when nothing else worked.
It's brilliant.
So, success! The pups are saved. Lord Stark agrees, everyone's happy. And you think, okay, chapter's over. But nope. There's one last little twist to this discovery, and it has everything to do with Jon, the kid who just saved the day. Right as they're about to ride off, Jon hears something. He wanders off and finds a 6th pup, one that was pushed away from the others. And this one is completely different. It's an albino, all white fur, red eyes. And get this, while the others are still blind newborns, this one's eyes are wide open. It's the outcast, the runt. A perfect little furry mirror of Jon himself. Just one pup, all by itself. So it turns out the math was perfect. Jon's argument about fate was spot on. He just hadn't included himself in the equation. And now here's this little outcast pup just for the boy who also doesn't quite fit in. So when his father asks him about it, Jon's first words are, "I am no Stark." He immediately puts that wall up, reminding everyone of his place. And then, after finding this one pup that's just as much of an outsider as he is, he claims it. This one belongs to me. And right there, that's it. Their bond is sealed in that shared feeling of being on the outside looking in. So at the end of the day, we're right back where we started, on a cold northern morning. A life was taken by the law of man. And then new lives were given by what feels like a sign from the gods. A hard lesson about justice was taught, and a lonely destiny was claimed. By letting his children take these mythic creatures, what has Ned Stark actually done? What incredible, dangerous path has he just put them all on?